So we're going to be watching Why You Wouldn't Survive a Nuclear Disaster by Chat History. Somewhere remote, technically.
No, you're working as a team! Where's the lamb sauce?
Those idiots always forget the lamb sauce.
Oh. Oh shit. First hour.
Well, that sucks. Looks like you are in for another round of survival, but hey, at least the witch wasn't part of this one, right? Right, so let's see what you're made of. I'm gonna go narrate from a safe distance. Good luck. Alright, so first you're gonna need to assess any immediate damage and take stock of what you have. Or you could panic and make hasty decisions instead. See what happens when you panic? Now, take a deep irradiated breath and just think for a second here. Judging by the fact that the nuclear plant is like right there, it's safe to say that you're well within the danger zone. Hope that cheaper house price is worth it. Your immediate and best move is to go back into your house and shelter in place since you know that there's at least some food and water there. Make sure all of your windows and doors are sealed shut to keep out any unwanted radiation and/or people. Desperate times create desperate people. Also, try to stay in the center of your house or bunker down in the basement. You might also want to take the time to contact those you care about. Oh wait, in this hypothetical scenario, you're a complete loner who doesn't have much in the ways of loved ones. Except your buddy Ron. But you never invite him over. Oh well, the less people you have in your life, the less you have to be concerned about in an emergency situation. Who needs loved ones? Not you. Hypothetically, of course. Also, your phone has no signal thanks to extreme network congestion and plot convenient factors. They never work when you need them to. Speaking of people, be glad you're not out in that traffic jam. They're about to learn a thing or two about nuclear fallout. See, when a nuclear source detonates, that explosion will vaporize and launch a bunch of stinky radioactive material out over yonder. Fallout can come in many flavors, ranging from small sand-like particles to large heavy debris and even a mediocre franchise. Either way, this stuff is deadly. Any form of contact will likely result in radiation burns. What's radiation? It's just traveling energy. Heat from the sun? Radiation. Wi-Fi? Radiation. Your buddy Raymond from Japan? Radiation. These examples, though, are considered low-energy radiation, also known as non-ionizing radiation, meaning that they aren't strong enough to cause any physical harm. Except Ray. Nuclear radiation, however, can, and it will. You can think of high-energy or ionizing radiation as a bunch of itty-bitty fists just penetrating your soft, vulnerable body and beating the ever-loving crap out of your internal molecules, particularly your DNA. Now here's a lesson for you.
Alright, enough of the rap.
Your DNA is your genetic information, passed on to you through many generations. Your mom, your dad, your grandparents too. Some from Emo Mary and the balls of Grandpa Lou. Looking like a ladder with a big old twist, it's pretty complicated, but you'll get the gist. All these little rungs determine all your bits. Brown eyes, quick wits, thick thighs or nice tits. Are you breathing without heaving, maybe blinking without thinking? Then thank your DNA for all the heavy lifting. Adenine for A, cytosine for C. Guanine is your G and thymine is your T. With the C to the G and the T to the A is what keeps you alive at the end of the day. Now, if this rhyme made your dopamine spike, then hit that subscribe or at least give a like. Thank you. Anyway, if you leave yourself unprotected, then all of that high energy radiation comes in and just gives your DNA a what for, severing them critical bonds and altering your genetic code, which will more or less lead to developmental issues and cancer down the road. One positive about nuclear fallout is that its radioactivity decay.
I know radiation will very likely give you cancer, but isn't like what's the treatment to treat cancer? I'm pretty sure like they give you like a small dose of the radiation to like battle the cancer and end up like killing the cancer. I think that's a treatment for it, and it ends up working sometimes, not most of the time, but it is one of the treatments that can be done.
Very
From
fast.
my understanding.
According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, within the first 7 hours, the fallout has already lost 90% of its dose rate of radiation. If you wait a full 48 hours, that increases to 99%. Sure, I wouldn't advise making dust angels in it, but it's better than what happened to those traffic jam people. Poor souls. The point is, patience and planning will get you through this. Ooh, looks like you got company.
Yo, dude, it's Rod. Open up.
The mysterious voice at the door, as he just identified himself, is Ron. He's your best and only friend going on 4 years now ever since you both wore that same shirt at that one bar at that one time. Bro. Yeah, guy friendships are that simple. Now Ron, he's always had this weird obsession with end of the world scenarios like this, so I'm sure he will use this situation as a big ol' I told you so. I told you so. See? It's been a few weeks
the
with
whole
Ron, and things are going
ad.
pretty well. Luckily, with like 3/4 of the population dying in gridlock, resources are still pretty plentiful. You've both managed to hunker down in a grocery store, which is conveniently constructed next to a home improvement facility. That's pretty neat. But let's face it, humans are opportunists. So if there's chaos and confusion, people will take advantage. Sure, some looting and stuff happened, but oddly enough, the majority of things taken were TVs and shoes. That's lucky for you, since those things are, as far as I know, inedible. Sure, you'd figure that the government.
I feel like if there was like an apocalypse in that sense, like there was a nuclear explosion, or like let's say zombies, or anything like that, anything comes to that with like tremendous amounts of looting, I feel like you'll be pretty retarded if you went into a store and start just taking TVs, especially with like a zombie. Why are you taking TVs instead of like food or like, I don't know, toilet paper? Anything that would be useful maybe, but no, you're taking a whole TV that probably won't fucking connect. So that's pretty dumb. I don't know, man.
Might have helped out by now, but when the emergency services budget has been diverted to researching the long-term effects of Asmongold political commentary, there's not much for wiggle room.
Yeah, this is gonna keep getting worse.
As for food, you want to prioritize anything that is sealed, especially with high water content, as they are the least likely to be affected by radiation since radiation can't swim. Things like canned meats, canned vegetables, and oh no way, they even have.
Canned bread?
Since this grocery store has backup generators, refrigerated and frozen foods are still on the menu. If you can figure out a way to safely cook them, of course. Brats. Uh-oh. Looks like the store manager isn't too happy about you fingering his foods.
You'll have to pay for that, you know.
Time for a choice. What's a plumber's favorite drug? Huh? Crack. You said you weren't gonna. I lied. Ron, do you think we're gonna make it out of here? Of course, dude. Why do you ask? I just think we should be making progress away from here, away from all of this chaos and this radiation.
Yeah, why wouldn't we
I mean,
drive
sure,
away?
but it's all radioactive out there. Actually, all the radiation is being blown northwest of here. As long as you keep to the southeast for a few hundred miles, you should be good. So why haven't you left? Do you really care? No. Well, you probably want radiation suits like these ones just in case though, but these are for me and my son here. Can we have those? Hell no. Please? Okay, nice work. You've managed to figure out a way to safety, but you can't go unprepared. You're gonna need to find some equipment for the journey ahead. You shimmy your way over to the hardware place next door to look for supplies. With some luck, you're able to find some cloth, 3 logs, and a rope. With some elbow grease and a bit of know-how, you're able to craft these into something useful. That should work. You also grab a sweet axe as a precaution, placing all of the items in your back pocket to save precious time on animation.
If you guys were in the zombie apocalypse, or like, in this case, a radiation where people are looting, what gun would you take? An axe, a bat, I don't know, a golf club? Let's say no gun. I think I'll probably go with the axe, just because I feel like I could do a lot of damage with the axe. And you can also probably cut stuff with the axe. Either that or a metal bat, because I feel like a metal bat would be kind of lighter than carrying a whole axe too.
Ready to go, Ron? Let's do it. Oh, that needs some WD-40. Yep. You traverse through the remnants of the town and make your way towards the southeast. On your way, you pass by dozens of poor unfortunate souls who have succumbed to the effects of radiation poisoning. This stuff is not fun in the slightest. If your unprotected body gets absolutely assaulted by ionizing radiation, you're in for a world of hurt. Literally. I'm sure you're familiar with the famous Chernobyl nuclear disaster in 1986. The firefighters and operators during that event learned very quickly that death can be an invisible beast. After generous exposure to radiation emanating from the nuclear plant's reactor core, these men endured unfathomable pain and suffering for weeks. Immediate symptoms included radiation burns, intense nausea and vomiting, headaches, and diarrhea. Those that could be were rushed to the Pripyat hospital, where they had to be stripped of their contaminated clothes that continued to bombard their bodies with radiation, even while being miles from the original source. Those clothes were abandoned in the hospital's basement and are still down there emitting levels of radiation to this day.
I'm pretty sure there was like this one YouTuber or this one explorer that went down there to the place where the firefighters like threw away their suits, and the radiation was pretty much still alive, the same as the day that the whole accident happened. And that radiation, that shit's gonna last thousands of years. Like, that place is pretty much sealed off, and no one can go into like Chernobyl unless you're pretty much highly protected from radiation. And I feel very bad for those firefighters because they all died in a horrible way. Their whole, like, imagine, like, first of all, there's no cure. Like, you're not being saved. They have no cure for the amount of radiation that you just took. And that whole time you're alive, every part of your skin is peeling off. Because their whole arm, since it was like exposed to radiation, their whole arm is just, the skin of it just disintegrated, slowly got burned away. They couldn't stop it. I don't know how the whole thing works, but I remember like watching the documentary about it. It was horrible. I feel so bad.
Be it not nearly as dangerous.
Actually heroes.
Over the following weeks, these men's bodies severely deteriorated,
Yeah,
forming
yeah.
painful burns and bleeding blisters with extreme hair loss and a constant state of confusion
Goddamn.
and dizziness. In the end, 28 firefighters who responded to the Chernobyl disaster died of acute radiation syndrome. But there's nothing cute about being turned into a human hemorrhoid. Now, luckily, you're past the point of this being a problem for you. It's probably best if you trail off from the beaten path. After all, you never know if any of the other survivors you encounter will be friend or foe. You trek through the woods for a few days, living off of various non-perishables and bottled water from your convenient off-screen inventory. But supplies are starting to run a bit low, and you think you might need to start foraging. But hold on. Remember that nuclear contamination can spread far beyond the original site, even if it isn't directly downwind. So animals, plants, and water sources original site.
That would have been all of Europe. Where Chernobyl happens, the whole area, if it had spread that much, all of those areas would have died. It says, while the nuclear fallout close to Chernobyl, mainly Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and Sask of the northern hemisphere, fluctuating winds meant some areas were affected worse than others. So yeah, all of that radiation, that's how much it traveled from the original site. And keep in mind that they actually were able to stop it, luckily. But if it ended up getting like on the rivers and like the atmosphere, dude, that would have been so much worse. Like, if we got into the fucking water, all that drinking water would not be drinkable at all. It would be like polluted.
Even if it isn't directly downwind. So animals, plants, and water sources can still be contaminated. So unless you carry a reverse osmosis filtration plant between your cheeks, you're SOL. Looks like you need to search elsewhere for food and water. But it also looks like Ron is about to be in danger. Oh, look at this little fella. You gotta come over here and take a look at this little powder puff. He's so dang cute. Ron? What?
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
No, I'm running a bit.
There! A cave! Bears hate caves! Good enough for me. You might want to hurry up a bit. We made it. You okay, Ron? Ron?
There goes Ron.
Are you okay? You take the time to mourn the loss of your fallen friend, but the solemn silence is broken by a noise deeper in the cave. You even notice some light and are determined to investigate. Now, under normal circumstances, you really shouldn't be wandering willy-nilly into a cave like this. It's a surefire way to end up trapped or wedged in some narrow cave system dubbed Satan's
hate cave
Prolapse.
divers.
But there is an angry bear outside that just murdered your friend, so this might be a better alternative. Let's see what lies ahead. Hello? 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 I hate cultists. Well, that was certainly a choice. Looks like you're the new owner of a weird little worshipping cave. Probably some sweet loot here. You scavenge and swipe what you can. Some food, materials, but something else catches your eye. Well, that's definitely magical, but certainly evil. And there's an inscription underneath. Survival you have learned, so now you must return. Just flip me thrice, but some advice that witch will need to burn. Are you really gonna trust some evil artifact you just found in a cultist's cave? Why not?
Yeah,
Alley-oop. I'm back. Hey, Cityville Nuclear Power Plant? We have a witch problem. No, this isn't a prank. Hey, Ron, do you want to come over?
Where's the lamb sauce?
But yeah, honestly, I don't think I would make it just because of the amount of like things that I wouldn't know about a nuclear disaster like that. But I think I would be able to make it pretty far if it was like zombie apocalypse. I think so, because I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere right now. Only have to worry about like big cities. I think I'll be fine for a while. I think I would do just fine for a while at least. If it was a zombie apocalypse.